What's up, guys? Brian here. Gonna work on the truck real quick, or just see something. We got our block heater plugged in. I don't know. I don't really know how to tell if it's really working or not. I guess I can feel the plug and see if it feels warm. Oh, yeah, it's warm. Well, kind of warm. Warmer than the ground and the outside, as you can see. So let's unplug that. Start this bad boy up. Well, we better not start it up. But I'm gonna show you guys what my plan is. So, as you can see, there's no light in the cab. I better not start it up. My neighbors will get pissed. The hell you starting that up in 6:30 in the morning for? Well, you know, some of us gotta get stuff done, so no time for sleep. Okay, let's put this flashlight down. You guys can probably see. Yeah, you can see a lot better. Okay, so I got this project. This is my project right here. I got this nice LED light because, so originally on a stock truck, the light is right here and you can feel where the cutout is right there. There's a cutout for the stock light. It's not on, it's not operational. So I went to O'Reilly's, I found this. It's pretty bright. So the reason I'm bringing you out here at, at the crack of morning is because I kind of wanted to show you kind of the process, I'm trying to figure out, okay, where do I want this, right? Where is it gonna light the best? And I've already decided this is the way I want it, just like that, right? It kind of looks like it's pointing forwards, but it's actually really a good spot for lighting up the cab. So let me shut the lights off. And then you can see, let's see, where'd the button go? Great, 1 second. There's the button. Okay, boom. There we go. There's the cab light, the new cab light. And that's pretty bright, and that pretty much is as good as any stock light, if not 10 times better. So that's where we're gonna put the cab light, right there. Not right now, obviously. It's too cold, and it's in the morning, and well, I mean, I guess we could do it now, but I don't really want to work on that now. Because what we're going to have to do, let's see. I probably don't have to, well, I should probably loosen that up. I might be able to poke the wire. It's a really thin wire. I might be able to just poke it underneath that piece of trim, with the screwdriver. But at the same time, you kind of risk breaking the wire. So it's just better to loosen it up a little bit. Oh, sorry, I got you guys sideways. It's just easier to loosen it up a little bit and then poke it in. So we don't have to take it all the way off. And then the way we're gonna run this is, the way this is set up now is you got a toggle switch on and off, right? But for advertising purposes, they hooked it up to this battery pack and have this little thumb light right here, basically. So what you do is you undo these two wires right here, and you just, solder those into, either the cigarette lighter or something, some sort of power source. Doesn't have to be a big power source, obviously. The wires are so thin, but this will be our switch once this is out of line, right? So if you press this, it shuts it off, and then turns it on, turns it off, right? So that's how that works. Anyways, let's come back in the daylight and do this. Well, we got the wiring harness from the old subwoofer, just a little small one, and it's bright enough out that we can actually start doing the install for the cab light. So we're gonna both be doing both kind of simultaneously. Without further ado, let's loosen this bad boy up a hair. Now that we got this whole trim loosened up, we can figure out, put the light on. So this particular light basically has two ways of attaching it, right? It's got screws, and it's also got an adhesive tape. We're gonna want to poke this in there before we stick it, because we want it as close to that as possible, right? We don't want it separated because we don't want the wire showing. Screwdriver go. So flathead typically works better for doing this part, but yeah, we're gonna have to get a flathead. Push it in there. Want to have a little indent for the wire to go in. That's a little more centered on that screw. Okay. Press firmly, get it stuck up there nice. Okay, then what we got is we got these screws. The best way to get these screws in is honestly an impact driver, because it spins so much faster than what you can do by hand, and it just allows it to dig in a lot faster. But the problem with these drivers are you don't want to go in too fast because you don't want to strip the wood, right? So there's a fine line that you kind of have to be, right? As soon as it starts going in, that's when you stop, pretty much. Okay, there we go. Got that in. Now, what we want to do is use our flathead screwdriver and tuck this underneath where this is going to go. Basically, you want to tuck it in, right? That gives the cleanest appearance. There. Can't even see anything. Look at that. That's perfect. That's the way you want it. Right? And you just keep working your way down, just tucking it in. Be very gentle with the wire. You want it in that lip, because if you don't, when you go to tighten this thing back up, you could pinch the wire, cause a short, because this particular piece of trim is metal. All the rest is plastic, but that particular one is metal. Doing is, that's gonna be easier. I'm gonna tuck it in this pillar on this side. It'll be easier to get it down in there, and then I'll be able to go down this crack and underneath the dash without an issue. It's almost like they cut it too short. Just flat head a little bit. Be very careful with that. You don't want to just poke a hole through it, and that's what you'll do if you're not careful. Right, okay. Got that. Screw on there, nice and tight. That went in way too easy. Oh, there we go. It's almost like, oh, it's the wrong screw for that. I think this one was the one that was here. Yeah, this is the one that was here. That's the thing about old pickups. 20 million of the screws are gone, and they just fixed it with the screw they had on hand, which is so annoying to me. There, that looks a lot nicer. They're still a little bit untucked, but it's because they cut it too short. So we'll have to fix that on another one. Not too worried about it. Alright, let's put this one back in. Okay, now this one. I don't like this hole they got here. This thing is massive. But I mean, is what it is. So that's why they use this big screw to kind of cover it. There. That's looking pretty good now. See how it's not tucked in behind that little one right there? Let's tuck that in there.
As stupid as it may seem, this is a very useful tool. So what I'm going to do is, I've got this hook, right? I'm going to hook that wire, right? I'm going to hook it, I'm going to pull it up in here. Very gently. You don't want to rip that wire. There we go. Now we got no wire showing, and we can come back down this side.
Right. Come back down this side. There. Nothing. Okay, we'll come back down here, and this is where we'll go underneath the dash. I'm not sure where I want to put the switch yet. Okay, wanted to do show you a cool little tool that I've owned for a while now, and this thing is pretty awesome. And it's a really simple idea. Basically, it's this little tester light, right? Plugs into your cigarette lighter, so you know you have a good ground when that light lights up, right? And then, like, let me just show you something. So we got, let's see, let's test something. Let's find. Okay, so there's red. Lights up red. That means there's power there, right? Now, blue means it's grounded, right? Pretty cool, huh? And if it doesn't light up at all, then that means it's just nothing, right? It's not hooked up to really anything at the moment, right? So obviously the key's off. So if I turn the key on, that could be a negative or it could be a positive. It could be a positive. Okay guys, just wanted to show you kind of a little trick I had to come up with because of the fact that the wires are so thin on this light, right? These wires are so thin that even the red connector, the hole is too large. So what I did, let me show you. So I cut it probably right about there, stripped off that much, twist it, you know, pretty good. You want a nice tight twist because you don't want the wires loose, right? Okay, and then you fold it over, right? And then you twist it again. Because I was able to use this light tester and find this positive right here. See, that's a hot wire. See how it's lighting up red? And let's see. Boom. There's our light. What do you think? Now, I thought this one was gonna be a hot one because somebody obviously put it in there. So I thought it was gonna be a hot wire, but it was not. Okay. Nice and snug. You always want to just test. Just tug on it. See if it feels like it wiggles a little bit or not. Right? Now the tricky part is heat shrinking this with that thin wire. I'm going to start from the inside and then kind of work your way I don't even know if this heat shrink will shrink down enough for this particular wire. Yeah, it looks like it's going to. Okay, there you have it, folks. That's how you do that. Now let's unplug this. You never want to unplug it by pulling on the cords either, guys. I would be using a heat gun, except for mine is lost somewhere. You really can get this nice and toasty, and what it does is it helps fuse this outside heat shrink to the actual coating of the wire. You just have to be careful that you don't heat it up so much that it starts burning it and it becomes brittle, right? You can melt it, just don't want to heat it up so much that it becomes brittle, right? Now I'm kind of at a loss yet because I don't know where I want this switch, right? It's kind of bulky, it's kind of, I don't know, it's not my favorite looking switch. So I kind of want to hide it, but at the same time, I want it to be accessible. You know, and the other thing is, they really designed this poorly. Like, they should have had one port for both wires to come out, and they should have had an indentation where you could bend the wire over. You know, see how they have this indentation so you can bend the wire over. But the way this is designed is now you have to see the wire on both sides. If they had the indentation all the way across, you'd only have to see it on one side. And you could, you know, hide that by putting it in something like that, you know. Now you're almost guaranteed to have something showing. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Now there's still a little tiny gap in there, but it's not even noticeable, right? I mean, there has to be a little gap for the wire to get in there, which is just stupid, but that's just the way it is, right? So now what we need to do figure out how we're gonna get all this wire up here. Basically what I like to do is I like to kind of get it all up into a bundle, nice little bundle. And then I like to zip tie it. It's just so much nicer because you never know if you're gonna reuse that light on something else. Chances are you probably won't, but better safe than sorry. So check this out, guys. There's a zip tie right here. It's just sitting here doing nothing. I'm gonna reuse that. Let's cut this right about here. Okay, now we can reuse this bottom half because we can just pull that out. Boom. That's the frugal side of me. I get that from my grandpa. You can thank him for that little tip because he would have done the same thing. Okay, so we get our everything all up in here, nice and bundled up. I don't want anything hanging down. I hate it when wires are hanging down. It looks so tacky. Okay, now I don't know where my clippers went, but let's cut this off. I also don't like leaving these long trails of zip ties. I think it looks tacky also. Now, cab light is successfully installed. Sweet. Okay, now time to finish the wiring for the subwoofer. Shouldn't be hard at all. Let's go ahead and put this thing back up here. What the? There we go. There we go. Boom. No wires showing anywhere. Looks really clean insulation. Okay, let's get back to the subwoofer now. So, I got the two covers off. Those just pop off. They're just little clips. You just pull it off and they just pop right out. So the next step to installing this sub and the light is we're gonna take the stereo off, or out I should say. Now what we gotta do is we gotta run this cable underneath the carpet because I don't want it on top, it just looks tacky. So we're gonna run that underneath the carpet And then like I said, gray to gray, white to white. And then what we got here is we got a power wire, a ground wire, and then this can plug into whatever I want. It's a little, basically it's a little hand tuner that you can put on there. I'm not gonna attach it, it's stupid. Normally when you have your radio, you set it to whatever frequencies you like and then you just leave it. You don't really adjust it, at least I don't. Okay, what we wanna do is we wanna route these two wires right here up through there. So we gotta do that now. Cut this thing off. This is annoying me to death. These wires don't go anywhere, but I can see them. Poking out. See, they used to go to a stereo system, I bet, at one point, but they were done away with. Let's see if we can twist these together. A very useful tool in doing this kind of stuff is this right here, because you can reach in there and grab stuff. Let's see if we can see it in there. Can't see it yet. There it is. If we hold that there, put this in here. Check that out. Boom. Now that was way easier than trying to get my hand in there. Way easier than trying to get my hand in there, because my hands are a little too big for that. Now let's figure out why we got this wrapped around here. There we go. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna recommend. Just like that. Two of these, two males and the female. I know it's painful and it's tough to get her in there, but sometimes you just gotta make do. And that'll be a lot easier than trying to splice another wire in there. That's always such a pain. So the best way is to stick a screwdriver in there and open her up. Seriously? Doing that with the lighter is not the most efficient way. You gotta get yourselves one of these. Heat gun. They work so much better than a lighter. Kind of want to just push it back and kind of jiggle it. That way no wires are getting pinched. Okay, here's something I wanted to address. It was bugging the hell out of me. This right here, this whole bracket right here is not up where it's supposed to be, right? It's something I want to address before everything goes back together. When this is up all the way, the lighter will sit in there. It's just not up in there all the way. So let's do this. Let's unscrew these top ones and see if we can't get it to get in there first, and then tighten those down. Because this is really irritating me. Okay, you see that little plastic thing right there? That's how you know how high up it's supposed to be. But I do not like that. This setup is a crappy setup. Because those are supposed to be screwed in and they're not. Oh wait, those are little plastic knobs. Okay. There we go. Now it's where it's supposed to be. The plastic knobs are in. Okay. I wanted to show you guys the finished product of the installation of the subwoofer. Well guys, I can't play the audio because this song has copyright. So
basically, the sound system works amazing, and the bass hits pretty good. There's a song at the end of the video that didn't do any copyright or anything like that, so you guys can listen to that at the end of the video. And hope you enjoyed. Please hit that like button and the subscribe button for more great content, and comment down below what you think of the install, and if you've ever done anything like that, also comment. I'd like to hear your stories, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
And I wanted to show you the power, how the power wire is connected. I forgot to show you guys. Really simple though. Basically, the power wire comes up through the firewall, all the other wires, comes down through here. It's got a fuse in line, and you just hook to the positive power. So that's how that is. This thing just sounds so clean. One of the ways I did this, I actually riveted this to the back, but I got spacers in here. These are washers with rubber on one side. They're for roofing. They work amazing though, because it keeps the vibration off of this and this. Like, it worked throughout really good. The only vibration I'm getting is from this window, which this clip is broken, so gotta get a new one of those. And my other junk that's back there rattling around. I really like the way this light turned out. Looks pretty slick. Let's try another song. What do you guys think? It's pretty sweet, I think.
A coffee stain
Okay.
on my white shirt.
You're fired.
Stuck in my head just like the song. This catchy song. Can't stop thinking
You guys wanna
about
hear
this
some
thing just
dub-
like the
dub
song.
music?
I'm on a
Let's see if we can get some. That's the bass right there, guys.
Now greetings to the world. I saw the one big gun still alongside Skrillex.
I don't really listen to dubstep, but it's kind of cool.